Hello everyone. Today we will be diving into a beautiful concept called equity risk premium or ERP. To simply put, ERP is the added return that you expect for investing in volatile markets like stock market against stable source of investment like government bond. Let's say you have 2% of return in government bonds. So ERP is basically the added return that you expect to choose stock market over the government bonds. Well, how do we calculate ERP then? There are two ways. The very first is historical approach. Historical approach, we take the past return of stable bonds like the government bonds and compare it with the stock market bonds that give us a higher return. For example, the stock market gives 12% return on an average for past 4 years, while the government gives 4% return on the bonds. Thus, our ERP would be 8%. That is, we need 8% more return to invest in the stock market. There are some flaws with this method. One being the historical data is not that much accurate because the time changes the market perception as well as the investor perceptions. So a past data may not be relevant in today's scenario. The second problem with the historical data is that the data that comes does not factor in current conditions like, let's say, investor updates or current market scenarios. Thus, we can run into risk of choosing redundant data. There, the second method comes in, that is forward looking approach. Here we take the current data like the stock market prices along with the obligations like dividends or securities that are associated with the firm, and then we calculate the ERP. It is very dynamic and it adapts to current market scenario. Thus, by comparing with the forecasted numbers with the current return on government bonds, we can easily calculate the ERP. Now, how does one say that the ERP depends on two factors? Well, those two factors are, one is individual risk tolerance. It is the individual risk taking capacity of an investor to choose the stock market over the stable bonds. Then there is an option. The another factor is market risk factor. That means when the market is volatile or there is economic uncertainty, the investors tend to increase the ERP to compensate for the volatility. Just like the individual investor would be more willing to invest in government bond if they have low risk appetite. Now, how do we calculate ERP in emerging markets like India, where we have less data available to the public? Well, first we should go to a developed market economy like the United States or Germany or France, where the data is readily available. Then we can add a risk premium for that country, let's say India, by calculating and observing the spread. That way, it would help us to calculate the ERP for an emerging country like India. All in all, in conclusion, I would like you to know that ERP is calculated using historical approach or forward-looking approach that helps us to calculate the risk premium by taking into account the market sentiments as well as individual risk appetites. So thank you very much and see you in the next one.